Come on, Fitzy.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Brogan. Today we are back with another stream and I'm with Mike.
Good morning everybody. Well, we haven't done this for a while. We've had a couple of Saturdays off, but we have a very special show today. There are some very upset people out there, and understandably upset. If this is their first bull run, they're going to be upset. They're not going to understand what's going on. And today's show is not Toncoin, Solana, Ethereum. Today's show is about Bitcoin. So if you don't want to know about Bitcoin, if you don't want to know about the origins, the tokenomics, how it works, the cycles, leave. Don't watch the show. Go somewhere else, okay? Today, we are going to go through the cycle and we're going to explain how this cycle works, okay? Because being suggested that we've finished the bull run 3 months after the halving shows a fundamental lack of understanding of where we are in Bitcoin. Why is Bitcoin so important? Because it's 52% of the total market cap of crypto. So what Bitcoin does, everything else follows. We had the show yesterday. People were losing their proverbials over coming down to 53,000. I don't know what we are today, 56,000, 55,000, doesn't matter, right? So we're going to go through it today, and we're going to go through from the start all the way through to the finish. We're going to go through the white paper as well, not step by step. We are going to include some of the content from that. We are going to look at the different phases of the bull run, and we're going to look at the 4-year cycles. All of those things, hopefully in an hour. And I, of course, am joined by the Oracle. Yeah. People say that when he sleeps, he doesn't have 40 winks, he has 40 wicks.
Exactly.
All I know is that things in the studio float around when he brings up the charts.
I live in the charts.
He lives in the charts. We are going to have charts in the show today.
Yep. And I'm going to claim glory. Obviously, I'll claim more glory later when we are into the charts. But I do claim glory as the only singular crypto charts streamer who predicted the 55k and below drop. I'm the only one who predicted it. I went against the entirety of the grain. I went against the grain, and I said we're going to 55k. I didn't hear anybody say a word of it other than Crypto Warehouse, and lo and behold, it happened. So obviously, if that doesn't say that you are obviously sticking by and watching the right channel, then I don't know what does.
Anyway, if you're new here and you want to hear more predictions from the Oracle himself, you know what you need to do. You need to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. If you're watching on Binance today, of course, don't forget to give us a follow on Binance. We are only streaming on Binance and YouTube today. We've binned the others off for today's show, simply because we don't want to have to watch our P's and Q's during the show. We want to focus on the content and talk to you mano a mano, or mano a womano, whatever you want to call it. Right then, before we begin on, sorry?
Or
they'o, or them theirs. We're
inclusive here.
We're inclusive.
We accept everybody.
Yeah, look at them over there. That's what we like to say. Before we do any of this, we are going to have a look at the markets, and we do have some X-Files that we can't not include. And at the end of the show, we are going to go through Hamster Chain, aren't we?
We are, hopefully.
We are going to go through Hamster Chain at the end of the show. So make sure to stay with us, smash the like button, say hello in chat. It's a two-way stream. As you can see, the Oracle has updated his UI, so we should be able to see your chat on the screen.
Yeah, basically, I was going to put it bottom left here, but it covered my face and I couldn't have that. So I had to put it at the top. So hopefully it doesn't cover everything on the screen. I don't think it should. There's a lot of changes to the UI today, so hopefully nothing's messed up. If there is, it's a live stream. We're not BBC News, we're not Sky News. We try to be, but we're not. We don't have 14 people working behind the scenes. So if something happens, we'll just change it live.
Amateurs. Okay, should we go on? What's happening in the markets? Are we above 65,000 yet? I haven't checked anything today. I don't
think it covers it. It should be fine. So let me shimmy it down. Let me refresh. Make sure it's the tip-top best data. And if we look, Bitcoin is 56.5 right now.
56.5. What was it? Were we yesterday? We were at 54 yesterday, weren't we?
Something like that. I think the lowest was like 54.5, which is actually the bounce off the bottom of my bull flag. Obviously, if you're in any of these streaming,
it went below 54. We went below 54. We went to 53.
Well, I don't care what the price was. All I know, it wicked to the bottom of my bull flag. It could have gone to anything. All I know is it's gone to the bottom of my bull flag. All I know is that the best
glory.
TA drawer in the entire
Sounds like Keir Starmer, who got the least number of votes in the history of elections and still claimed glory. Look at me, I'm so popular. 19% of the population voted for me.
Well, people get to know, and then
where are we then?
Streams are going to be huge.
What else is moving?
2,994 for Ethereum.
Yeah, just under 3k.
That's crazy.
Just under 3k.
5% up there on the 24-hour, 5.5 actually. 4.5 on Bitcoin. BNB $507, but we're up 10%. Solana $137-ish, 11.5%. Obviously, huge dump, big old retracement, makes sense. I don't think we're in any sort of downtrend for pretty much anything. Obviously, over the long term weekly, if we're in bull flags, we're going to be in a downtrend because that's how it works. But as a whole, we're not really in so much of a downtrend, so I don't expect these retracements to be, any less of where we've already been. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll get to the TA when we get to it. What else is there? Oh, let's have a look at the winners. I haven't done this in a while. Toncoin's up 16% actually. Dogecoin's up as well. But anyway, I haven't done this in a while. It's felt wrong to not do it because I've been doing my streams. Obviously, I haven't really been on these streams. We haven't looked at the daily winners and losers. So with $1.99, 27.3% up on the 24-hour, an absolute great trade, and it's up 1% or nearly 1% in 7 minutes, which is nice. Multiverse X 21%, and some other people. Shib 18%. So all the people getting Shib in the chat. I'm waiting on your Teslas, please. Thank you. That'd be really nice. A quick look at 7-day though. Mantra is 15.7% up as well. Other things, Tron, yeah, cool. Just for losers though. That you know what? You know there's been something going on when the 24-hour losers, every single one is a stablecoin. USDC, USDD, FDUSD, Leo, which that's not anything, but whatever. DAI, that's not really, that's actually that as well. Tether. I mean, obviously it gets to these points down here, KuCoin, but all these over here, all just nothing. It's basically all stablecoins, which makes sense. The market has been it's been overdumped at this point. It's been double dumped, so I don't expect anything to really be down over and gone. Obviously, 7-day, everything's going to be down pretty much 20% here, 19, 20, whatever. So not a surprise there, but a decent overall market right now. Expecting some retracements continuously over the next couple of years. But if we have bounced off, I mean, Bitcoin obviously market force. If we're bouncing off bottom of a bull flag, what happens then? We're going to be coming up to the top of it, $70,500. We're going to be going up, and if we're going up for Bitcoin, we're going up for most of other things. So yeah, pretty excited. I think we get into the X Files then.
I'm keeping my gunpowder dry.
Right.
Keeping my powder dry. I think Tariq's coming to chat.
Perfect. I'll look at that in a second. I'm just get the first X File up.
We have some X File. I am going to try, by the way. I am going to try and keep my temper today. I did feel yesterday, Brogan, you weren't here. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, towards the end of the show, I was getting exasperated.
Right, as I saw.
I was running out of patience yesterday, and that's why this show is going to be so Bitcoin-centric today. So we can have a little bit of a refresher.
Awesome. All right, well, let me have a look at the chat.
What are the X-Files?
See what's going on, everybody.
That's it. Who's in chat? Say hello if you're in chat. Remember,
he was here already.
Who?
Pakasad.
Yeah.
He was above the chat. I didn't see him there. So,
morning.
From yesterday. I mean, good. I mean, I think right now getting in is like the biggest priority. Like whatever you take away from anything over the next couple of days, just getting in because this is perfect times. Really perfect times right now. Watching All Blacks at the moment. England just in front. Okay. I mean, I'm not much of a football person myself.
Rugby.
Yeah, rugby. I mean, sorry. I don't do sport. Really.
Cricket.
I don't do. Oh, so do you get one as well?
No, it's rugby. It's rugby. It's probably rugby union, I'd imagine. If it's the All Blacks.
Put some more soul yesterday. That's good. Yeah.
Do you know why they're called All Blacks?
Why?
I'm going to tell everybody this. They're called the All Blacks because of a typo.
Really?
They were supposed to be called the All Backs, but the typo, by the time it went to print, called them the All Blacks. And it wasn't a racist thing because they're from New Zealand, right? Mm-hmm. But they were called the All Blacks. And there you go. There's a little fact of the day for you. So they're called the All Backs.
There you go. Very interesting.
Do you know why Australians are called the Wallabies?
Why are they called Wallabies?
Because they're all misogynist, furry little animals.
Okay. I mean, that is your opinion. It doesn't reflect upon my view on anybody in the world. That is his opinion.
Absolutely.
And no one else's.
Next.
Tell land smash like McDonald's. Oh yeah, we were talking about getting a job at McDonald's to fund some buying crypto.
Yeah.
I mean, a good strategy. People have done it before. It is a good strategy. Obviously,
we have formed the M pattern now.
11-11.
Make a wish. I make a wish that Tariq doesn't forget about me when he's got his Tesla. That's my wish.
ETF pushed Bitcoin too high too early. Hopefully this retracement resets it back to 2025 highs. Back to 2025 highs. Is that a typo? I don't think so. I don't think we go that, crazy. I think we're already in. I'm still sticking to my guns though of the bull flag. Again, I will get into it more when we get onto the charts. But I still think we're in our range. I don't think we're going much lower than where we are right now. So I wouldn't worry.
No, we're not.
Right, I will read out the first. The issue with the chart being in this certain location it is right now, you can't actually see the.
Have you put it in the middle of the screen? Like a
I
massive
can't put it
zit?
left because that's where my head is. I can't put it the middle left because it didn't look right on my because it covered my big head as well.
What's it doing there?
It's you know what, whatever. It'll mean people have to listen more to the stream. Anyway, so Justin Sun, the reason the German team lost the game in this European Championship might be because they sold too much Bitcoin.
Absolutely. Karma. That's it.
Right.
Karma. We don't need to read any more of that. I'm trying to not rant. That's what I'm trying. I'm biting my lip.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a serial yapper in a lot of things, especially in my streams. So I need to keep it cut down.
What's next?
Miles Duchtel. This is one of the most obvious long-term setups I've ever seen. Short-term, Mt. Gox selling, German selling. Longer-term, Bitcoin and ETFs, election, major political shift, re-crypto, $16 billion FTX payout to customers. Feels like a massive opportunity. Well, I agree with him, but obviously that's because of my charts and nothing else. So, hey.
If you trade emotionally, you will always end up in tears. Next.
Wow, that's good. Rapid. Okay, so that's it for the X file. So we've got ASR.
It's not. Oh yeah.
Oh no, there's one more.
There should be two more. There should be one with the MRVR or MVMR.
There's one more. Have I changed the tab already? No, I haven't. There's one more. There's three on the list.
Go on then.
Okay, so from Santiment, the goats, the lower a coin's 30-day MVRV is, the less risk there is in opening or adding onto your position for a short-term time frame. And also the trackable top caps seeing the least to most risk of dip buy potential right now. Doge minus 90.7%, Uni and Swissis. Okay, so let's just go to this chart.
So basically, the realistic value of the coin versus the market value of the coin, they move apart.
Right.
They can go above, and they become what you would call buying at a premium, and they can go below, which is what we care about right now, and you buy at a discount.
So this is just what looks like a really
we don't need to see the chart. We don't need to see the chart.
I wasn't going to talk about the chart.
All right.
I was just going to someone basically saying just looks like a really fancy version of oversold movable.
We don't need to, Next. We've got a lot to get through. The point of the matter is, the MRVR, or whatever it's called, market value, real value, all you need to care about is it at a discount, is it at a premium? We've got coins at a discount because they're undervalued, not because we're at the end of the bear market, or the end of the bull market, sorry.
Active staking rewards. Active staking rewards is an innovative way to reward active participants within Dupe, allowing them to accrue more voting power over time in the simplest way possible.
So I think I'm going to try and get the video out to you today. But for those of you that have been staking Dupe since the start of this year, is there a countdown on that screen somewhere?
No.
Okay. I think it's about 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon. So maybe 3 or 4 hours from now, you will be able to go and claim all of the tokens I told you about in the video that I made last week. That's all we need to know.
All right. Awesome.
I don't want to take too long because we've got your charts to stick on the end of all of this, and we're going to be here in an hour and a half's time, aren't we?
Yeah.
And everybody's going to be.
I don't know when the charts are actually, because there's nothing in the list which I
didn't put any charts on the list because I thought you might just want to look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana stuff.
Yeah, but like when it was in the thing.
We could cut the stream in half. So, what have we got first? Have we got the Bitcoin white paper first?
It should be. What does it say? Yeah, Bitcoin white paper. Yeah.
And there's the next one, cycles.
Tokenomics, halving, market cycles. So it's white paper, then tokenomics, and it's the halving, then market cycles.
Right. After the halving, I would do your charts.
Okay.
We'll split it up, otherwise it'll get really heavy. Right. So let's start off first.
What I'm going to do though, I want to move this chat. I might do it top left next to the date because it is potentially covering stuff. So
you could just cover me.
Yeah, but,
I really don't want to be on camera because people are going to see the rage in my eyes. You know, in 28 days later, when their eyes go red and bloodshot, and they're going to eat people. That's what I am at this moment in time. I'm going to eat people.
All right, well, it's good enough there. We'll leave it there for now. So
Okay.
we have, it's on the sidebar, good. So we have, let me go full screen, there we go. The Bitcoin white paper, it's 9 pages, but I believe like probably the end is like
8 pages long.
See here. So it's basically 8.
If you have not read the Bitcoin white paper, you should not be holding any cryptocurrency, because the Bitcoin white paper, it sounds all really fancy and exciting and it's got loads of codey things in it. It isn't. It is an explanation on how decentralized digital money should work. It is a paper. It is like an overview of how Bitcoin works. If you haven't read it, go and read it. If you ever wondered why there's 21 million Bitcoin, go and read it. If you want to know why it was invented, go and read it. It explains everything in this white paper. Now, maybe using the power of technology, Brogan may be able to copy the link to the white paper and paste it into the chat in YouTube.
There's a potential for that.
There is a potential for that. We have that power in here. I don't want to read through the white paper because it's not important for us to go through the white paper. This isn't a science class. We're not at school. I'm not here to paraphrase bits of the white paper to you. What I'm saying to you is, if you've been in crypto for a year or 2 or 4 and you've never read the white paper, you should be reading the white paper. Everything else that comes after the Bitcoin white paper, every other cryptocurrency, is totally irrelevant, because this is the genesis of everything. This is the beginning. This is like reading the first chapter of your holy book. So go and read the white paper, and it will help you understand why dips, 25% corrections, 50% corrections, it is meaningless, okay? If you spend 100 hours reading about Bitcoin, you will understand everything you need to know about why it is not going to go anywhere, why it is not going to go to zero, and why over time, whilst every currency in the world is being debased, Bitcoin will grow stronger and stronger and stronger. That's why you need to go and read it. We don't need to look at it anymore. I just wanted to go. That's the start of the show. Read the white paper.
Yeah, read it. I mean, but again, looking at some of the graphs and what they're talking about, obviously, there's some parts maybe at the bottom where they have these formulas here, but this is just test cases. This is for per interval. It even says on the function name, attacker success probability. This is just an exemplar of what he used to show how minimal the attacker could affect Bitcoin. Obviously, this is the entire reason for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So this is obviously, it's important to understand. But I understand. I mean, I've looked, some of these charts, like up here, for example, these are not hard to understand. Obviously, if they are hard to understand, obviously, there's probably people out there who have paraphrased and explained it. There's probably YouTube videos out there who explain it as well. So if these are something which you can't just pick up go to YouTube. There's probably videos, like I said, of people who have broken down the Bitcoin white paper to really understand it. But like I said, some of these, most of this isn't really too difficult, and it is pretty vital in terms of understanding the core basic message of crypto.
So that's where we start today. The Genesis paper, the beginning. Okay?
Yeah.
Go and read it. It's not our job to read it for you. What we're going to do now is pick out the bits from it and explain why they are important. Which one's next? Is it halving or the cycles?
The next part is tokenomics.
Right, tokenomics. All right, let's look at the tokenomics first. Again, we're going to do this as simply as possible so everybody understands, everybody knows what page we're on, everybody knows why we're talking about this. I've tried to pick some easy ones.
Biggest ad. I hate these ones which have these Google ads. Because when you press close on Google ad, it doesn't close it.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
And today's show, while you're bringing that up, is sponsored by Tenzing Natural Energy.
No, if you want
Lime and mint.
No. If it wants to be sponsored, they can come pay us.
Lime and mint. This contains vitamin C, caffeine, and electrolytes, and it tastes as pretty much horrific as it sounds.
Yeah, it's pretty. It tastes pretty raw. What happens to Bitcoin after 21 million mined? So actually, as well, I can, assume what they're going to talk about. We already know what they're going to talk about. Obviously, we're going to get into it. But if you've done economics, or you're familiar with some basic kind of concepts of economics, this will be pretty easy for you. It'll be really easy for you. Obviously, that's just want to preface that. But anyway, reading the first title, what happens to Bitcoin after all 21 million are mined? So there were 19 million, 19.6 million Bitcoins in existence as of December 18th, 2023. Since cryptocurrency has a limit of 21 million, there were about 1.5 million Bitcoins left to be rewarded. In fact, one of the chief characteristics of Bitcoin is the limited coin supply. Bitcoin inventor Satoshi Nakamoto, the anonymous name used by creators of Bitcoin cryptocurrency, designed the cryptocurrency with a cap to limit the supply. This increases its scarcity over time, which tends to increase demand and price. Yeah, pretty simple there. Some key takeaways here we'll read out. Maximum total supply is 21 million. Whoops, just clicked a random button. The number of Bitcoin issued will likely never reach 21 million due to the use of rounding operations or operators in the Bitcoin code base. No additional Bitcoins will be generated when the Bitcoin supply reaches its upper limit. Bitcoin miners will likely earn income only from transaction fees. Yep. Obviously, now going on to talk about will the number of Bitcoin ever reach 21 million, as we already discussed, in terms of the rounding, because obviously to get a precise, based on a global peer-to-peer network of CPU operations and kind of working on this blockchain to get exactly 21 million blocks to mine, or to mine the blocks to get 21 million Bitcoin is pretty precise and hard to do, as it kind of sums up here in its rounding operations, as it talks about. We can see here this is a good little picture in terms of what it talks about the halving and how it halves the amount of Bitcoin per block and kind of the amount as it goes along. So obviously 2009, 50 Bitcoin, obviously coins to be mined 21 million, its inception. So obviously back then, per block, 50 Bitcoin as it would get split up. Yeah. We'll get into this, I assume, when we talk about the halving.
Yeah, we will.
But you can see this is a general graph. I'm not going to go over it too much of kind of the system of the halving as we get into it and the diminishing amount of Bitcoin left to mine. Yeah. What more is there?
There shouldn't be too. I don't want to labour the point.
Yeah. I'll read this one. I'm scrolling through. There's not really much more. There's maybe the bottom line. This one I think is the most important. What happens after all 21 million? So I'll read this, and then I think that's pretty good. After the maximum number of Bitcoin is reached, even after that number is ultimately slightly below 21 million, no new Bitcoin will be issued. Bitcoin reaching its upper supply limit is likely to affect Bitcoin miners, but how are they affected depends in part on how Bitcoin evolves as a cryptocurrency. Bitcoin transactions will continue to be pulled into blocks and processed, and Bitcoin miners will continue to be rewarded, but likely only with transaction processing fees.
Absolutely. And I think what are we? Are we 100 years away from that? Something like 80 years
21 to 40 essentially serves, yeah,
120 years away from that. And by which point, transaction fees on Bitcoin are potentially going to be £5,000 a transaction, $5,000 a transaction. Yeah. So they're never going to be out of pocket, because without them, the blockchain doesn't exist.
Definitely.
So they coexist, like parasites that live in your body. They coexist with you. They don't want to kill you. They just want to live with you and live off you. Now, why is all of this important? If you have $100 in your pocket today, you can buy 100 eggs, for argument's sake. In 50 years' time, how many eggs can you buy with your $100? 50? 5? 1 maybe? They are debasing the money in your pocket by about 3% per year. Yeah. So after 30 years, it's worth 1% of what it's worth today. You put your money in a bank and they pay you 0.5%, and inflation is 2.5%. So it's 2% a year you're losing money. You're losing the value of your money. So over 50 years, it will be worthless. They debase your money, and that is what they do. And that is every nation state on earth debases your money. America, the euro, the pound, the yen, all of them print money to debase the money in your pocket. And why do they tax you if they can print money? To stop you from going out and pushing demand through the roof and pushing inflation through the roof. So that all they're doing to tax you is to stop you from breaking the system that they have created. Bitcoin has a finite supply. In 100 years' time, 1 Bitcoin will still be able to buy those 100 eggs, if not more, because it will appreciate in value. That is why you hold Bitcoin. That is also why you hold gold. Those assets should hold their value over a long period of time. To understand how that works, that's why it has 21 million supply. That is why will only ever be 21 million. It's written in the code, 21 million. No currency on earth owned by a nation state has a hard cap supply. They print and print and print and print. And over time, inflation is a hidden tax and it will ruin you. Wherever you live in the world, whatever money you put under your bed, if you go back and get it out in 30 years' time, it will be worthless compared to what it's worth today. So you need to hold your wealth in appreciating assets. And that, in the crypto space, is Bitcoin. So that's what you need to understand about the tokenomics of Bitcoin. That's why it's so important.
Yeah, that's a good question here. How will the network be secured without miners?
There will be no Bitcoin without miners. Yeah. Bitcoin is proof of work. So in a proof of work system, when the transactions get added to the blockchain, they get added in blocks. Those blocks are added by the miners that solve incredibly difficult mathematical equations. They then get rewarded for adding that block with the block reward, which is whatever it is nowadays. Is it 2.25 per block or something like that?
2.25. Or yeah, it's 1.215 where it is next.
Yeah. So they get rewarded for that. So at the minute, that would be what, $125,000 for adding a block. But they're not easy to do. So without miners, there's no Bitcoin. But it's a very profitable business.
Exactly. And there's always incentive to have, when you're talking about transactions and the operations needing miners, there's always going to be a value. As long as there's value in Bitcoin, there's always going to be a value in having miners there. It does all boil down to the fact that there's perceived value in Bitcoin, just like gold.
Yeah.
As long as there's value, as long as Bitcoin's held in a situation where it has value, to people, then there will be people mining it. Obviously, there's organization there's people who have big, kind of groups of miners in their own control, which obviously profit off it as well. So if Bitcoin's profitable, there's always going to be a reason for miners. But in a theoretical world of miners, like you said, obviously number one, if there's no miners, there won't be any Bitcoin.
No.
But if there's minimal amount of miners, it minimizes the amount of power needed to have a bit more control over the chain. But again, I don't see a world in that happening ever.
A good point to add to this is you just said perceived value. Okay. So you say, okay, well, why do we just think it's that amount of money? Or why do we think this is that amount of money? Why do you think the dollar is worth the dollar? Why do you think the euro is worth the euro? Why do you think the yen is worth the yen? It all has perceived value. Everything in the world that you can buy has a perceived value. Your second-hand car. How does the dollar maintain its strength? It uses its might in different ways. It has political might, it has economic might, and it has military might. Okay? So it uses those. It used to have gold. It used to be backed by gold. So if you had $100 trillion worth of dollars, you might have $20 trillion worth of gold. We came off the gold standard for many numerous reasons. Why does the euro have a value? Because economic might, military might, political might. Why do other countries with only 5 million people, why are their currencies so weak and so poor? Because they don't have military, economic, or any other kind of might behind them. So their currencies are weak compared to the dollar. That's why so many small countries use the dollar as a sovereign currency. So Bitcoin is no different to any other currency that exists. It's exactly the same. What backs Bitcoin is the biggest, most decentralized, most secure computer network ever built by mankind. Full stop, ever. It's in nearly every country in the world. There are thousands and thousands of miners getting rewards for keeping it secure. But the key is there is no political influence over Bitcoin. Whereas every other currency, including gold, has a political group trying to manipulate it. Look at what they did with silver 20 years ago. There was a conglomerate that was rigging the price of silver. They fixed the price. Gold, they fixed the price. Their own currencies, they fixed the price. With Bitcoin, it is outside of political pressure. It does not have a switch that a government in America can just turn on and off. They can ban it, it'll just go somewhere else. China, the second biggest economic power in the world, banned crypto mining. Did it stop Bitcoin? No, it didn't. If America bans mining tomorrow, would it stop Bitcoin? No, it wouldn't. So it's outside of this political sphere, and that's another reason why it will outlive all of these other currencies that are all going to the wall. We're going to have hyperinflation in America. They're printing it into non-existence. So there's a lot of reasons why Bitcoin will still be here and some of these other currencies won't.
Yeah. We have some comments. Great points as well. We had, let me scroll up. Mike said 55k is upon us. Yeah, I mean, we obviously dumped to there and lower even. I mean, I don't know if it'll happen again. Obviously, we'll get into the charts soonish.
Yeah.
After the next one, actually, after the halving, right? So after this next chapter, I suppose, we'll get into the charts as well. Have a little look.
Have a look at the Bitcoin chart.
Yeah.
See where we can go next.
Exactly. Peter said hello, Mike. He said hello, everyone. Just wanted to say hello. I said, what's up, Brogan? Hello, Peter. Great you're on the stream. Mikey then said a monthly chart bearish as it once was when we lost 67k. I'll have a look again, like I said, after the halving, side chapter. We will look at some charts, and then bunch of people said, "Hey Pete, hang in there with your bags. We all have been out of pocket." Yeah, I mean, I think this is, instead of it being an opportunity to think about how the unrealized amount is down. It's more of a situation where you're allowed to get more in, as we've talked about, with some other comments, nearer the start of the stream, talking about DCAing in and stuff. This is a great opportunity, and as I said near the start, if you take anything away from these streams apart from all the education we've given you based on on Bitcoin as a whole, it would be to DCA in. Pretty much right now, these are great opportunities. Obviously,
Absolutely.
We've retracted a decent amount already.
25%, I think we worked out, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. I think this is the low. Anyway, again, like I said, we get into the charts. We've already bounced off the bottom of the bull flag. For me, anyway, in my opinion, I think we're now in the next stage of things, which is going up back towards 70,500. But obviously, there can be mini movements within it, which allow us to come back down. But not want to get too much into it. We'll get into it in a minute.
What's next? So we've got the cycles and we've got the halving.
We've got halving, market cycle, stocks flow, future price.
Okay, so do the halving, then your charts, and then we'll go into the cycles, because the cycles make sense after you've done your charts anyway. So, okay, let's go through the halving.
Well, there's more comments. Go on then. Peter said, I'm relying on Mantra. I really have loaded up heaps after saying the rest. I'm a one-trick pony. I mean, again, your portfolio is your portfolio, but, Bitcoin and Ethereum, those are big ones, and I think again it depends on how long you're playing the game for. And again, it's your portfolio.
Exactly.
But Bullish Bull said the same thing. Pete gets on Bitcoin and Sol. I agree completely. Sol and Bitcoin. I think Ethereum again. Ethereum is great as well. You can't deny the big coins are always going to be making profit and secured profits as we go into the future. But I think Solana and Bitcoin are going to have some of the, especially Solana are going to have some of the biggest returns coming into the height of it. But anyway.
Absolutely.
Let's move on now, though, to the halving. Let me get the link up there. Oh! It's that old noise.
The old man noise.
Yeah.
Do you know how tired I am? I feel like Yoda. Do you remember, anybody else remember in Star Wars where Yoda was fed up of being asked questions by Luke Skywalker that he just died? That's what I feel like.
I don't even. All right.
Tired.
So now we'll get into Bitcoin halving, then we'll go to the charts after this. So what is Bitcoin halving and why does it matter for crypto investors? As we looked at in the chapter after before this, kind of looked at that screenshot, that would give a good kind of, it's like a foreshadowing of what we're talking about right now. It was a good little screenshot. So this is a really nice little sentence. What is a Bitcoin halving? An event when the reward for mining Bitcoin transactions is cut in half.
Absolutely.
So Bitcoin halving takes place about every 4 years and reduces the block reward by 50%. This lowers the supply of Bitcoin entering the market, which increases scarcity and can act to raise its price if market conditions remain the same. Obviously, a drop in supply. It's not like it's an increase in demand. It's a drawback in supply. Obviously, if you do the first lesson there, can I tell you this? A drawback in supply, increase the price.
Just remember what happened with toilet rolls during the pandemic. Everybody went, oh my word, and went out, and suddenly people were wiping their backsides with maple leaves.
Exactly. I mean, that was just a ridiculous increase in demand. I mean, that's like there's a couple of ways of having an increase in price. There's drawback in supply or an increase in demand.
Yeah.
Pretty much the only simple, base economic ways of increasing something's price.
Yeah.
Basically. So, block rewards are part of the blockchain's automatic process of validating transactions and opening new blocks called mining. Miners, participants who compete in a race to solve a cryptographic puzzle, are given new bitcoins if they are first to solve it. So, key takeaways, this was really good when we looked at it on the other ones. I think this is mainly what I'm going to look at.
Yeah.
Bitcoin halving event, we've already looked at that. Bitcoin's last halving on April 19, 2024, resulting in a block reward of 3.125 Bitcoin. The final halving is expected to occur in 2140 when the number of Bitcoin circulating will reach its maximum supply of 21 million.
Ish.
Yeah.
20,980,000.
Yeah, with the rounding errors.
Yeah.
So is a Bitcoin halving good? There are several reasons Bitcoin halvings are considered by many to be good for Bitcoin's ecosystem and market value. For others, it might not be such a good thing. So one of them is inflation. Obviously, it talks about US inflation. Obviously, I think it's talking about CPI numbers when it's talking about the cost to buy a basket of goods. This is an acceptable inflation rate that is considered a good for economy, usually 2%. But the Bitcoin halving is intended to counter any inflation effects on Bitcoin by lowering the reward amount and maintaining scarcity. So as US print. The money, obviously, again, going back to economics in terms of kind of drying up and revitalizing the economy by buying and selling bonds and how the banks do. Obviously, that whole spiel of things, but there's never really a system which decreases the amount totally printed ever in for the dollar or most things. But with Bitcoin, there is this system which does allow for there to be a big counteraction for inflation, which is great. Obviously, demand, the scarcer and scarcer it gets, and people knowing it has a final point of 21 million or roughly 21 million. I think this was another point I was going to mention when I was talking about the drawback in supply. The drawback in supply, as it does increase price, the reason it increases obviously is because if the demand stays the same, there's less to buy, so it increases the price. But with all this kind of action about guys, the supply's drawing back, there's also a slight increase in demand as well as people go, okay, great, this is actually going back. I want this before it goes out, type of thing. So there, even though demand is still staying the same, there is still a slight bit of movement of an increase in demand because of the fact Bitcoin's so big.
Yeah.
Obviously, mining's very profitable. It gets, less so as we halving cuts mining rewards, so the endeavor becomes less profitable with each halving.
And miners have to capitulate, and miners sell.
Exactly.
Right.
But yeah, I think we'll move on. I think that's mostly all of it.
So what we're going to do, that's the theory.
Yeah.
Dry as a bone. Okay. Yep. It's done. The white paper, the scarcity, the debasement of your currency, the halving cycle. What we're going to do now, bro, is look at some charts. I can get up and have a walk around and talk to you guys.
We'll read the chat though before we go into it, obviously.
Yeah. And then after the charts, we're going to look at what this means. What does it mean? What are the phases of the cycles? The 4-year cycles. We're going to look at the phases. We're going to look at the stock to flow model and how that works.
Yep.
And then we're going to show you this really lovely pattern on the screen to explain why every single person who has said the bull running is over is wrong. Okay? Every one of you. If you think the bull run is finished, this chart is going to change your mind because it's never going to be wrong.
And my chart
Ever.
as well. Obviously, got the bull flag,
And the Oracle's charts.
And my chart as well, obviously. The best DA drawing in the entirety of crypto, as we know by the 55k prediction and success of it, as I didn't see a single person say that anywhere online.
What are the comments then before we move on? We're going to run out of time.
Some say quantum computing could jeopardize, but would also jeopardize a lot more. Yeah, we've kind of talked about this other times on streams.
There's algorithmic solutions to protect against quantum attacks.
Yeah, they've updated this on Ethereum. Bitcoin's also updated it a bit later after Ethereum, so there are updates to that which can protect it.
Yeah. So it was a threat 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And now it isn't because there's ways to stop it from happening.
BlackRock and Co. ultimately not great for Bitcoin. This must be a different part.
I disagree. And the reason I disagree is they can't control it. Now, Ethereum is a different kettle of fish because BlackRock can control Ethereum because it's proof of stake. Proof
If you've got
of
more
stake,
value, then you can just take it.
yeah, proof of stake is basically, it should be called proof of wealth. The more you own of Ethereum, the more you can vote in the DAO. So if you own 40% of the supply of Ethereum, you could, over time, convince the DAO to move Ethereum in the direction you want it to go in. So it should be called...
Sounds pretty familiar.
Yeah, exactly.
If you've got more money, then you can do more things.
Exactly. So
A
it's
lot
proof
more
of
things.
wealth. Exactly. Proof of work. It's uncensorable and it's immune. You can't do it. And what would happen is they might say, right, we now want Bitcoin to be proof of stake. So there'd be a split. And you know what would happen? It would destroy the proof of stake Bitcoin because nobody in the world would switch to proof of stake because they understand proof of work. BlackRock would never try and challenge that. They would be able to take over Solana. They would be able to take over Ethereum. I totally agree. But it's not the case with Bitcoin. I think what is the case with BlackRock and Bitcoin is if they decided to dump 500,000 Bitcoin on the market in one day, it would kill Bitcoin. But who does that benefit? Does it benefit BlackRock? No. So it's never going to happen.
Yep. And then Peter saying now it's Manchester on. Like I said, it's your portfolio. That's fine. And then Julian said, I have crypto beans. They said fancy coffee beans next week.
Coffee beans.
That's the comment. And then Peter said, I'm playing till December and selling. Yeah, fair enough. Again, it's your strategy. I say this on my streams all the time when I do TA. Like strategies, obviously strategies meaning TA strategies, but it also could be just general crypto investment strategies. It is your method. If it works for you, I couldn't care. Like it is your thing.
Absolutely.
Can't afford Bitcoin. I need 100,000 to buy one. What's the point of it? That's a stupid comment. Like you don't have to own one Bitcoin.
Buy a fraction.
Exactly. You can
Buy
a fraction.
$100 of it.
I don't own one Bitcoin. You don't have to be involved in Bitcoin you don't have to own one Bitcoin to be involved in one Bitcoin. To involve in Bitcoin as a whole. Absolutely. I don't own one Bitcoin. Bush Bull, Bitcoin will double if not more. Yeah, in the future. Yeah, I agree completely. Suppose no risk, no return. I get it, but I mean, when something's so unanimous, it's slightly it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It kind of fulfills itself. Yeah. It's going to be quite hard for Bitcoin to just disappear out of thin air. Hey, but yeah, that's your fault. And then Pac said 51% attack.
Nope, not possible, Bitcoin.
Exactly.
You can attack smaller networks with 51% attacks. Ethereum Classic came out of a 51% attack, I remember, and there are smaller chains that can be attacked with 51% attacks. That allows them to change the blocks on the blockchain. Bitcoin, there's not enough computers in the world to do it. It's too big and too powerful. It'll never happen. Maybe 10 years ago, it could possibly have happened. But today, absolutely not. The longer it goes on, the more impossible it is.
Unless you somehow botnet every single miner in crypto or in Bitcoin.
We did look at 5 ways. We made a video about this a long time ago.
We did.
5 ways you could bring down Bitcoin. One would be an EMP, a global EMP, but then that would bring everything down. And when the lights come back on, so would the blockchain. We then looked at a virus to infect the code of all the different miners around the world. That would be another way of trying to bring down Bitcoin.
Yep. EMP or something like that, global EMP.
I said EMP.
It removes every single record, basically, of the entire blockchain and every single miner.
But again,
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
No. But there's like that solar thing, that sun, but it doesn't really matter.
Not going to happen.
I'm going to read one more comment, which is Peter's latest one, and I'm going to move on to the charts because we've got
good idea.
Peter said, if I buy $1,000 of Bitcoin, what am I going to make? Toilet paper. I need to make at least 100,000 or waste my time. Again, like I said, that's fair enough. It's your strategy. You can do what you want, really. It's your portfolio. It's just, if you want something a bit more secured, and the acceptance of where Bitcoin's going in the future, I'd kind of everything in that regard. But again, like I said, if you want to invest in anything you want, again. But I mean, the general portfolio, the 60-40 kind of Ethereum, Bitcoin, and then 40% and whatever, it's just a general kind of blanket kind of strategy for most people anyway. So again, it's your strategy, it's your method. You can do what you want. It's just kind of this. If you buy it, it's kind of those. Yeah, I will move on. It's just one of those future-proof things where, like, if you hold it for a long time, it's going to absolutely soar. It's going to be like demanded by so much. But again, doesn't matter.
Yep.
I'm going to move on now to technical. I think my camera's on the technical.
Yeah,
should be fine.
I should be off, so I can get off.
Yeah, I'm
and
gonna.
walk around. I'm gonna go and abuse people in chat now.
All right, perfect. So we. Oh. There we go. Boom. I clicked the wrong.
Can I get off now? Am I off
You can go
camera?
off. Yeah. Boom. So we are on the charts now. This isn't the chart I want to look at though. I won't go to Bitcoin. Let me move this out of the way as well. Okay, so look, isn't that just beautiful? Isn't that just beautiful? What did I say? Well, okay, I want everyone to the ones who were there on my stream. This is my time now. This is my area. I can yap all I want. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. I want everyone to kind of, the ones who are here for the stream where I predicted this movement. I want you guys to can you remind me what I said? Because I can remind myself, and I'll remind you guys right now. What did I say? I either said, this was an overstatement, I either said we're going to bounce off the bear trend previous resistance point, or we were going to go up to here to this resistance point and come down. What did we do? We came to the first one, we came exactly to it, and then when we come down, we printed, obviously we came even lower. But we printed in this area, coming down to this red area, obviously came up. I mean, again, the majority of these buys, I've got something. The majority of these buys, when we looked at Bookmap and the order book in general, to just generally see where the buys were, it was mainly at 55k, and that's why I was my conviction was at 55k. But there were, as we saw in the screenshots, I sent it in Telegram as well. If you guys aren't there, go to the description, join Telegram, brilliant place. As I sent in my order book, we had so many buys at 55, like 317 Bitcoin worth of like future buys. And that's why I was more convicted towards 55k. Again, we went lower. That's fine. I mean, we printed pretty much above in the range anyway. And again, when you look back at the screenshot, there were just as much buys collectively below 55k as there were 55k. So I'm not surprised we sweeped even lower. But regardless, we came to this general area anyway. Against all odds, I suppose. Then we did. But after that, huge sell-off. It was pretty obvious we were going to come back up, and obviously we did come back up to basically where was support. Obviously, as I've already talked about, we had this bearish pennant, obviously bounced, came down to it, and then used it as support. And then we kind of arced, and now we're using it as resistance, which makes sense, support times resistance. But what I'm seeing right now is a potential, maybe not on the 1 hour, but some sort of really nice looking flag, just to see. I mean, I'm expecting to see some sort of bullish chart patterns and things to assume some sort of movement upwards. So let's say it's just there. It's roughly within the range of 59k upwards, which I'm not surprised. I think we're gonna have a slow and steady move upwards back towards our top ranges, because again, over the long period of time, we have bounced off the bottom of. You can see, bounce here in this range, bounce here off this range. Did it again, bounce off this range. This was my area. I said this back, 30th of June. My prediction, obviously, if we shimmy it across, it was about 5 days 5 days late, unfortunately. So instead of it being the 30th of June, bouncing off this area, we bounced off it 5th of June. Or July, sorry. I was still convicted that we were going to bounce off this area, and obviously we did. Held strong, boom. So now, this is why I'm saying I expect us to be in our bullish movement now, coming back up towards 70,500, 71k, and then moving along onwards. Obviously, the Binance chart has my updated prediction, which is the 70,500 back down, and then all the way up to like 95k, which is going to be huge for the future. Anyway, I'm going to read some comments quickly though. I actually agree, and I feel I should have just been a Bitcoin maxi and only hold Bitcoin. Again, yeah, that's fair enough. But like I said to Peter, any strategy, I really don't care. Like if you think I want to do this, I can't stop you. There's no what's for me to say. We don't give advice, obviously not financial advice. We just give our opinions. That's our opinion. You have to take it, and I think that's the most important part. Don't dance because you make me laugh. I think opinions are a great thing. You can have them, and no one will care. People can care about it, but at the end of the day, what is anyone going to do? Michael Brogan, I understand your situation. You guys buy 100,000 Bitcoin, $100. You'd be defensive and safe, but as average people don't have hundreds of thousands to invest. Mate, I do not have hundreds of thousands to invest. I have about $60 in Bitcoin in one of my accounts. I do not have hundreds of thousands. Obviously, that's my opinion, or that's my situation. Everyone's situation is different. Like I said, everyone's situation is different. It's just perspective at that point. But like I said, your strategy, it's your strategy. It's your life. But anyway, we went to Bitcoin. So now I'm going to kind of talk about where I think we're going. And I don't think there's much surprise here. That I think we're going to continue to come back up. If I don't really think we'll come back down unless we have some sort of double bottom and come back down to 54.4. Don't really see that happening though. I think we have this slight 4-hour bull flag.
Have we got bullish divergence as well? Or did we have bullish divergence?
On the RSI, no.
Can't see.
On the top, actually, no.
We kind of do. We did.
If we shimmy it from here,
yeah,
it's like a regular. I think this is bullish.
Yeah.
But again, you can see on the we do technically have it over this period of time. You can see by the wave trend, you can see boom this there and this here. We do have a bullish divergence there anyway. So we've technically got bullish divergence on the wave trend. We have this slight kind of bull flag, which is either printing or not printing, which I reckon after we continue, I don't think we print above 56.6 right now. I think we continue in this range a bit longer. Probably bring us back up towards 59k general area, bring us back into this range and continuing upwards. Obviously, my concerns, as I've already talked about, 61k, it's going to be a big concern. 62.2, and I think the most important one for me, which one was it? I think it's my important one is 66.2 to be precise. That is my important line in the sand. We need to get above that to go along, because that is basically the middle of the range. I've already talked about this in my other looking at the charts, bouncing within these mid areas. This is a monthly order block. This is huge. Okay, this is going to be kind of turning points if we're going to be going towards 71k. And if I'm being honest, I think we, I can even go to this chart for example. Maybe not that one. It's an absolute mess here. Let's just show this one.
Packer, yes, we are on X.
Here we go. So I can even just go to this chart, and even if you didn't have a single bit of other TA, and just had this bull flag, you can see this is our general movement. Obviously, we had a little bit of bounce there. But you can see, we're going to slowly kind of continue to move upwards. Obviously, this is a different time frame. I don't think we're going to have to take that long. I think it's going to be roughly within 70,000 range. But regardless, even if you didn't have anything on the chart, the middle point, it's either going to be the middle point about 62, like I said, or 66 up here, or it's going to be going up all the way up towards 70,500. But I think as we go along, there it is. As we go along, we do have movement up towards 70,500 and onwards. So yeah, I think long term 70,500, short term shimmying in this range, unless we break out right now, but we have to print outside of it within the next 2 hours, which there's potential for it, unless we start to pump right now. And if we look at markets really quickly, we can see VWAP's been coming up since 2nd of July, obviously having a bit of faltering down here. Momentum's been coming up, and it hasn't really printed out a red dot or anything. That's coming up. Pretty much oversold for quite a while on the RSI. That's coming up. So generally bullish, and I don't think we're in a situation where we're going to have a big sell-off. We're pretty bullish right now. Bullish situation for the market. Yeah. I think we have enough movement to bring us up towards these higher ranges.
Of course we do.
If it's not exactly 59, it might be back towards 58, 150, bounce off that to 56, 57, and then come up to 59. So I think we're moving towards 59.
When we spoke yesterday on the stream, and I talked to you after the stream, 25% retracement from the last local high, which was 72,000.
Yeah.
25% brought us down to exactly where we came to. Exactly 25. It was 25.1%. Brought us to where we were. And on the stream, 30% brings us to exactly 50,200. We don't have a 30% retracement in us.
No, I don't think we fall again.
So 25% takes us to where we came to, and then back up.
Yeah, and to give it a little sneak peek, guys. Obviously, we used the order book, but liquidation is really important.
Yes.
So we might. I'm trying. Obviously, I've got. I'm someone who can program things. I'm trying to find a way of getting liquidations, because obviously you've got CoinGlass and stuff, but every single liquidation chart is paid pretty much. And obviously they're all getting their data from somewhere. So I'm planning to try and make a liquidation chart system and the highest liquidation points to use. Obviously we can use that on our channel if I can figure it out. And if I get it right, I might try and put it on our website, which I will be updating, coming soon. So if I figure that out, I might provide an OG level liquidation chart as per Crypto Warehouse, which will be pretty cool. A Crypto Warehouse branded liquidation chart, which will be really, really important. So that might be coming.
And for the OGs,
yep,
we're going to be putting all of these different charts
Yeah.
behind not a paywall, but like the OGs,
An OG wall.
OG wall,
Yeah.
exactly. So
if you're someone we respect as an OG and someone who's on the chart, on our streams and respects us as a person,
just make sure it doesn't have any holes.
Chris. All right. But yeah, if you're someone like
Because if it's liquidated, it leaks.
I didn't see the comment.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah,
it's
fair enough.
fine, Chris. He's slow. He's slow.
Yeah,
I dropped him on his head when he was 3.
Right, I was on a different screen completely. I wasn't even looking at the comments, and you're squinting at me. I couldn't tell what was going on. But yeah, we're going to try and make a liquidation chart, and I think that is, liquidations are crucial in the crypto market.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Moving on though. Quickly look at some comments. Obviously, I normally look at Bitcoin the most, and then Ethereum Solana really quick. I didn't look at Ethereum Solana too long ago, so we're going to be really, really quick. We're going to be ending very, very soon in terms of the charts. And then moving on. Will there be more big dips in the next few months? Well, in the next few months, I think I've already talked about this. The stream before last in terms of trading. I think 70,500 coming in towards 22nd July, whenever it is, maybe even towards 25th of July, as we have shimmied our time frame along. However, I think we bounce one more time. This chart doesn't have it. I didn't update it. I think we bounce one more time. I think we bounce coming into the 16th of August back towards lower ends in the bear flag or the bull flag, sorry. And then when we bounce, I think it comes towards September time when we break out. I think September, October time, bring us towards 95k. So that I think within the coming months there might be one more small movement downwards before we pump. I think because that time frame would line up with September, October time, which I think is when we have. Isn't there something significant in September, October time?
October the 20th is 6 months from the halving, and that's normally when the miners finish selling.
Yeah. Right, so that's going to be pretty huge. Bullish aspect of things. So, but yeah, I think there might be potential for one more. I don't think we pump just yet. I think we still have a bit more room to move. Because again, if you see over the arcing, boom, 1, 2, we've had two bounces. So one more, I think 3 makes a pattern. Boom, 1, 2, one more, and then we break out. You see that general movement. You can see that over there. So I think we have one more movement like that, bouncing off a lower point. Maybe 52k is when we bounce, and then we pump. Really, really pump. But that's what I think for if we have more dips, I think that's the last one we might have for a while. Are you guys on Twitter? Yeah, we are. Was it Jim Crypto News?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, we are on Twitter. I might have it in the description.
Yep, it's in the description.
Got a few fun announcements and stuff. I mean, we all do. Again, I always sit on my streams, even though I'm basically perfect. I'm not quite there yet on the charts. So people get it wrong. I get things wrong all the time. Find you both and following. Big respect. Huge respect. Respect for all you guys. There's tons of people here in the chat right now who are people who have been on the stream so many times. Really do respect you guys. Obviously, you guys are going to be the OGs for sure. You guys are great. You guys are absolutely great. And that joke is a very good joke. I wasn't on the chat to see it. I'm sorry.
It's fine, Chris. He's slow.
I'm not slow. I might be a tiny bit slow. I'm not that slow. Right? The thing I'm going to look at this really quickly. I'm pretty crazy right now of what's going on here. Obviously, big sell-off. It broke us out of this trend. Unfortunately, it wasn't a longer-term trend, but it completely broke us out, which is sad. We invalidated the bull flag. And again, going on to the point of getting things wrong, again, this was kind of a manipulation as well. Obviously, we had that before we dumped. We had a big sell-off. We already talked about this.
Yeah.
When you have news bringing the price down, you can't follow. It's not based when you're moving not based on price action. It's based on something external from the market. At that point, it's just you just can't handle it.
Yeah, I think yesterday I was calling it emotional trading.
Exactly, emotional trading. It's perfect. But you can see, importantly though, for Ethereum, and again, not saying anything crazy here, big green dot. And what that means, this on the bottom here, hopefully you guys can see that. That is a local, and the bigger it is, the more wider it is, but it's a local bottom. Which means 3,900 is a local bottom.
Yeah.
And I already had this line. I've had this line for ages. Since the about May time, I've had this line already. Really, and this is like big green circle, strong local bottom. As we are bouncing right now, really oversold RSI. VWAP's been coming up for a while. Money flow's really starting to come up. We've had bullish divergence. Momentum's really coming up. Completely bullish. Completely bullish. Coming up. My only concern is if we bounce off one of these order blocks, or we bounce off the negative trend line down here. But what I can see is if we shimmy this trend line going forward, you can see we have this going on, which could allow us to either break up or break down. But as the market's moving, I think the boat's rocked completely on one side of things. So what does that mean? We're going to, surge. Are you lying down on a beanbag?
What?
You lying down?
No, I am not lying down on a beanbag.
All right.
My eyes are not closed. I'm listening attentively. What I was about to say to you was, nothing goes up or down forever.
Exactly. That's just what I was getting to.
Yeah.
The boat's rocked on one complete side. So what's going to happen? The waves are going to push us the other side. I think because we've basically double dipped at this point.
Yeah.
And I think we're definitely going to come back up. And especially what I think for the market, I think the likelihood is we're not going to have a move down unless the idea is we bounce again off 3,016, come back down to 2,900, and then have a double bottom, and then come back up towards 3,300.
What period of time are you talking about?
4 hours.
No, but I mean, are we talking over the next 2 or 3 days?
Yeah, probably.
Right. Okay.
Coming into Tuesday, so you can see if I draw this line.
Next week is the Ethereum ETF.
Right. Yeah. No, it's not going to take ages.
Right,
I think we bounce again maybe 2 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay.
I think that's when we bounce. If we do that is we could just completely go above 3,016. But 3,016 was a decent support and/or resistance zone. So I think we could. It'd be nice if we bounced and then come back down to 2,900.
Do you know what's a shame?
What?
I was supposed to eat my hat if we stayed above $3,000, and we've not. So I technically don't need to eat my hat anymore, do I?
But what time frame was that? It's like saying at any point in the future, if the sun sets, I'm gonna give myself $1 million. It's like what I'm saying. What's the time frame on that? Okay. All right. But you can see what I'm saying. It'd be nice if we bounced a nice little double bottom there, coming back up to 3,400.
Yeah.
If not, and we continue, then I think we could have some higher lows coming back upwards. But there was that V pattern I've been told about. I haven't really looked at that too much. Was it? I think it was Devil is Right. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think who showed me the V pattern.
In Telegram.
Yeah. I haven't really looked at the V pattern too much, but it looks pretty cool. Hold on.
Don't forget, while Brogan's bringing that up, we are on Telegram and we are also on YouTube.
Yep.
So if you're on Binance, go and check out our Telegram group. Go and check out our YouTube links. They're all under the video. And if you are on YouTube watching us now, we are also on Binance. We stream 6 days a week in the mornings and 2 days a week in the evenings, 8 times a week. You lucky people get to hear my voice and the voice of the Oracle.
Yep. So if we kind of guesstimate, interestingly, it brings us exactly to 4,000. So you see, so if this happens, this weird ass thing, it goes boom, down here, V, boom, probably bouncing off 3,600, which brings us higher for the pullback. Pull back towards 3,420, and then the width we go back upwards. The target is the height of the neckline, or the height between the bottom and the neckline. So you see that height brings us to exactly where our 4,000 resistance line is. This could happen. Or we can have a double bottom and we can move up to 3,000. So there's two ways of going about it. Or, better yet, we could be producing a bear flag and we can dump all the way down, which I don't think is going to happen, considering what the market's doing right now.
Have we got over 3,000 already?
Yeah, but we haven't printed, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
But anyway, that's what I think Ethereum. I think it's going to go up. There's not really much for me to say. I think generally go up.
What's left? Solana.
It's doing the same thing as Ethereum's doing pretty much. Obviously, we've got a lot of lines here, bouncing exactly off 121.36. Why did I say that? $121.36.
Do you know what though? I tell you what, considering Solana 6 months ago, it would be under $100 now. It's acted really responsibly in this retracement.
Yeah, no, it has.
If you look, because I looked at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart and the Solana Bitcoin chart yesterday, or the day before. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And Solana is still holding its level against Bitcoin. So is Ethereum.
Yeah.
A lot of other coins have just wet the bed. Ondo is doing well against Bitcoin as well. But there is only a handful of coins that are holding the value against Bitcoin.
No, absolutely, I agree. Again, if it happens this V line, boom, you see that boom comes back to 160, pull back 155. The width of it brings us about $190. That could happen. I don't think there's a double bottom here. I think we're generally coming up. We could have some sort of difficulty at 145, but we're really trekking up right now. We're not really having too much difficulty. Not surprised there. big sell off. You can see RSI is really heavily coming up. VWAP's been heavily. Difference is, in general, when I look at Mark Cypher, the direction matters, but also the magnitude of the gradient, I suppose.
Yeah.
You can see in other charts, this VWAP has been slowly going up, but this is really sharp. You can see if we zoom in, this is really sharp moving upwards. Money flow really sharply moving up. This momentum really sharp. You can see it does replicate in what the prices do. You can see we're already halfway up the V movement. You can see what our candles are really strongly moving up, kind of suggesting to us that we're pretty oversold, considering how fast we're going up. This is a scenario where we're deeply oversold, which could suggest to me that at the speed we're going, we'll probably come up surging above where we came from because of how strong we're moving back upwards, which could coincide with what the V could suggest, which could bring us towards $160. Again, bouncing off 155, bring us $190. Could happen, but I just think we move in general. Probably see some resistance, $155 as well, as we move up. Whoops.
We're going on to cycles now.
Yeah, but interestingly, you can see, I love looking at this. Sorry to do that, but obviously support and resistance can flip. I think there's something in trendline flipping. I don't know if this is looked at. I know support and resistance is looked at and bouncing off this, but I might have made something here. I think trendline flipping is the new thing. You can see it happens all the time. I swear to God. Bitcoin, Ethereum, now Solana. Look, lower high, lower high, lower high. Flipped it, boom, support. It's like it happens. It just happens. But anyway, that's what I think. Moving on now. I've spent quite a while. I'll look at the comments in a second, probably.
We've got 20 minutes left.
That's all right.
20 minutes left.
That is not bad. Market cycles. Okay.
Am I back?
Yeah.
On camera. Hello. I was not lying down on a beanbag
No, definitely not.
in the dark. I wasn't closing my eyes for 5 minutes. I'm back. Now we're going to go through the most important part of the show. What's the first one? Is it cycles?
Market cycles.
Market cycles, right. But bring up the market cycles, because this is what you have to understand. We've already explained we're in a 4-year cycle. We've already explained the halving. We've already explained the tokenomics. The next part is to understand the cycles within the halving. Accumulation, the bear, the bull, the manipulation. There's all different elements to these cycles. We don't go up in a straight line. You've seen the meme about how do you get from poor to being a millionaire in the stock market, and people think it's a straight line, and it's more like that, and it's up and down and up and down. That's what crypto is. We go up 30% of the time, we go down 70% of the time in a bull market. We've just seen that. This is what's important to understand now. This is the next step of understanding Bitcoin. And these aren't me and the Oracle trying to mansplain to you. This is based on 10 years worth of previous cycle action. We're not making this stuff up. It's not a conspiracy theory about Joe Biden being a lizard or Michelle Obama being a man. This is what we're trying to go for.
And that's the thing though, like 3 times like a pattern, and when you've got multiple years of experience, and this is the thing, it's like, we even looked at the halving and the 4-year cycle, taking in between each halving. It's like the value of the time it takes is written in code. It is physically written,
hard coded
exactly
into the script.
Yeah, and when Bitcoin is the big market kind of dominant direction holder, I suppose you name it. When that's doing its thing, things will follow suit. And again, I always say on my streams as well, each coin is different. It doesn't necessarily have to follow exactly one to one. But in general, if the Bitcoin is doing something, the market is moving same.
Yep.
So, if Bitcoin has a hard-coded 4-year value, and it's happened 2 times in a row, or 3 years now even, 3 times in a row, we've already made the pattern. This is the 4th time it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, what is any different from now than 3 other times?
It doesn't. And okay, everybody says this time is different. History does not repeat. History rhymes.
Yep.
We are not going to have an identical 2025 to 2021. Why? Because in 2021 we had the scandemic, or whatever you want to call it, okay? So we're not going to have that in 2025. Or maybe we are. Maybe this avian bovine flu thing is going to come out of the earth and make us all wear masks over our eyes for 2 years or whatever, okay? But it will rhyme. And what rhyming means, it will follow the same pattern, but not word for word, not price action for price action.
Exactly.
Now, hopefully, Brogan is now going to detail the cycle to you.
Hopefully. Bitcoin's market cycle. So what is the Bitcoin market cycle? Bitcoin market cycle refers to the recurring pattern of price behavior in the Bitcoin market, characterized by alternating periods of appreciation and depreciation. This cycle is a result of market participants' perceptions and actions, such as buying and selling, and is influenced by a variety of factors, including market sentiment, regulatory changes, technological development, and the wider economy. Historically, Bitcoin has followed a 4-year cycle tied to Bitcoin halving, as we just talked about, which happens approximately every 4 years. A halving event makes a 50% cut, and we've already talked about this. Yeah, we've already talked about that.
Just get onto the I think there's four parts.
Yeah, here it is. So, what are the Bitcoin market cycle phases? Phase 1, accumulation, occurs when prices are relatively low, but small signs of growth appears. During this phase, forward-thinking buyers will accumulate cheaper Bitcoin, and so it represents the point of maximal financial opportunity. Typically, there is bearish sentiment in the market, so volume is low and prices are fluctuating in a tight range and near the bottom. Phase 2, growth. The price continues to move up towards the all-time high. Halving events in the past have occurred here, coinciding with shrinking exchange reserves as buyers hoover up supply as they look to capture rising prices in anticipation of new all-time highs.
So just to put this into context. June, July and August last year was the accumulation phase. If you watched us over the summer months a year ago, you would have heard us saying, the halving's coming next year, rates are going to come down, buy your Bitcoin. And we call it, do we not? We call it pack your bags. Pack your bags. The accumulation phase is where you pack your bags. I got everything I needed last summer. Everything I needed. I haven't really been buying anything over that period of time. Then what happened? September, October, November, December. What period did we get to there? We got to growth. The pre-halving or pre-halving bull run, whatever you want to call it, happened starting in October. I'm not going to ask Brogan to bring up the chart because I don't want to distract. But the point of the matter is, you can see it in the chart. It was the same 4 years ago and 8 years ago and 12 years ago. It doesn't change. Okay, so now we've got some times to put to what Brogan's talking about. What's the next phase?
So after after growth is bubble, phase 3. When the price eclipses the previous all-time high, price action will start to move exponentially to the upside, pushing the price to all new all-time highs. I see price discovery in this case, which exceeds the previous landmark by an appreciable difference. This phase is extremely volatile, with rapid price increases followed by large corrections. Sell volume builds as a portion of investors lock in healthy profits, while many market participants will continue buying, believing the bull market has more room to run. As a result, price volatility is low, given the buy and sell volumes begin to balance against a backdrop of overconfidence. At this point, many investors would see the fear and greed index flashing extreme greed. And the final phase is crash. Following the euphoria of the bubble phase, this is when the market will see a major correction to the downside. Previous bear markets periods have resulted in approximately 80% drawdowns. That's the entirety of the move there, by the way. Like, not just like just a random day has an 80% drawdown from the top and negative. From the top and negative price action of approximately a year, exactly. The most recent example saw the price tumble from an all-time high of 69,000 to 15,476. And this chart shows like the general, pretty much entire movements. You can see the small periods of accumulation is about 150%. They had, or in this first case, nearing about 2010 to 2012, 150%, 180% growth. 9,300 for the bubble, 87% crash. Pretty much every single one's been within 87 to 77, a 10% range. So you can see the last 3 times we've moved down about 80-ish% each time. Each time's basically been between 150% and 80%, obviously, nearing basically this time. And the bubble's getting smaller and smaller, but the movement is still going up. And as you can see, as we are coming into where we are right now, the green is still going up.
Okay, so are we in the bubble phase?
We're more so...
No, we're not in the bubble phase.
We're in the growth.
No. We've had accumulation, we've had growth, and we are now in the period, which is missing off here, called manipulation. Now, somebody said yesterday in chat, it's manipulated. Their version of manipulation and this version of manipulation are two different things. And when we look at the section after next, you're going to understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. After the halving and just before the halving, we have mini euphoria where the price will run up and then it will correct to the downside. And that correction to the downside, what's wrong?
There's a thing. It's called XA something or something. If someone does like stocks, they'll know about this. It's I can't remember what it's called. It's like X something. It's like something accumulation. Manipulation.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. So the key here is they want to flush you out. They want to flush you out now, and then they want to make you buy back in later on. So we've left the growth. The growth was going from 15 to 75, or near about 75. We've had the halving. We shouldn't have dumped the way we dumped after the halving. But why did we dump after the halving? Because of the excess sell pressure from Grayscale. It just dumped on the market. But the price rallied up so much because of the Bitcoin ETF that we're ahead of ourselves. What should the price of Bitcoin be today based on previous cycles? It should be at $45,000. That is where we should be today. And what are we? We're at $55,000. So we're 20% higher than we should be after the 25% drawdown. Why? Because as I have been saying for 3 months, the Bitcoin ETF has broken the price. The demand has not met the supply, and that equilibrium does not exist at the minute. So the price is up in the air. That is why no one can tell you what's going on, because we should be at 45,000 based on the period of time we are in. But we broke the all-time high because of the Bitcoin ETF. So everyone out there is screaming, we've hit the all-time high and we're coming down, it's the end of the bull run. No, it isn't. It's not the end of the bull run. It hasn't really started. We're probably 25-30% of the way through the bull run. We haven't even got to the actual year where the bull run will happen. You're hearing people saying that we're going to have the all-time high and the end of the bull run in August. You're getting people saying it's Christmas. You're getting people saying it's April. The cycle tells us it's 18 months after the halving, and it's worked every goddamn time. And it's not going to break because BlackRock and the men in suits now want to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana. They are not going to break it. Maybe they'll break it more for Ethereum and Solana because it's not tied down to the 4-year cycle. Maybe that's the case. Certainly not with Bitcoin.
You know what's going to... This happens so many times, right? I'll be doing something on the computer, right? And you'll be talking a bunch, and I'll stop doing something. I'll go, I should probably put it on the big camera speaking. And I put it on the big camera, and you stop speaking. It happens so many times. All right, let me move on. I'll try and find the Power of 4 thing.
I have got a comment from Peter. There are heaps more different coins last time, so money will more spread out. No, absolutely doesn't work that way, Peter. It is not about the heaps more coins. Bitcoin dominance, which we show you, is only really affected by the major currencies, such as Ethereum, which is 17%. Bitcoin is at 54%. The stable coins, if you remove stable coins from the equation, Bitcoin is going to break 60-65% Bitcoin dominance. Those other coins are irrelevant to Bitcoin. When do they become relevant? They become relevant in alt season. That comes after Bitcoin. What you're thinking is that we have one pie that we all eat from. No, we don't. We eat from the Bitcoin pie. Then we eat from the Ethereum pie. And then we go and eat from the altcoin pie. That money, our gut, goes from Bitcoin to Ethereum to the alts. The money flows out of Bitcoin into Ethereum, into alts. It's the same money swirling around. So when you see an altcoin go from 1 billion to 15 billion, does a 15x. It will do that during the bull run, but its blow off top will happen normally after the Bitcoin blow off top, because that's where the money comes from to get it to 15 billion. So we've set Bitcoin on fire. Bitcoin's going up in flames, okay? And then we take the bonfire from Bitcoin and we throw it onto the Ethereum heap. And then we take it from the Ethereum heap and we throw it onto the altcoin heap. It's the same money. So when you say, oh, well, there's like 50,000 coins now, they don't all pump on the same day at the same time. Traditionally, Ethereum's all-time high has come 6 to 8 weeks after Bitcoin. Why? Because the money flows from Bitcoin to Ethereum. Then alt season happens, normally 6 to 8 weeks after Ethereum. Why? Because it takes that time for the money to come out of Ethereum and go into the alts. So it's the same money, different pies. It's not Bitcoin hits 100,000 the same day that Aero hits $10, the same day that Ondo hits $25. It's not necessarily the same time. So when we talk about dollar cost averaging out, you don't do it on every coin at the same time. That's the difference.
Yep.
What's next?
I'm gonna. That doesn't matter. We were talking about that. Doesn't matter. Macro and Bitcoin correlation. It doesn't matter.
No, we can move on to the next.
Yeah,
we're gonna run out of
there's
time.
nothing anymore.
Morning, Solo Sky. Thank you for coming back
Morning.
today, sir.
Okay, future price. Here we go. No, start to flow, isn't it?
Stocks to flow. Is this the graph that starts the article as well?
Yes.
Perfect.
All right.
Where
What was
are
that? All right. So this is the stock to flow model live chart. So yeah. So this is the model by. I think this is the. We're going on to the Twitter account in a minute. Yeah. So this is basically. I think this is like the actual price and this basically prediction methodology algorithm, which we'll get into again. So this orange line is the prediction line, and then obviously the price is the dots here and there. So this is a rough model which follows pretty nicely. This is what time frame? This is a really long time frame.
It's a really very long time frame.
Yeah, this is basically. I think this is week.
It's a long time.
3, 9.
Now,
Yeah.
What?
Basically.
Before you begin, I just want to remind you: history doesn't repeat. History rhymes. That chart is not year for year identical, but look at the pattern. Look at the pattern in this chart. Nobody is more accurate on these predictions than the stock to flow model and Plan B. Sorry, I just wanted to premise what you were about to say.
So you can see, like, especially in the in these areas where we're kind of in comparisons, because obviously we looked at the market cycles. Obviously we had accumulation, manipulation, distribution, or it's accumulation, manipulation, distribution, and whatever the hell the other one is, in terms of not the bubble and the growth and the whatnot. And you can see in these periods where we're kind of in these flatline ones, where we're not having these the bubble or the park, whatever the hell it was. You obviously got the accumulation and the growth, which kind of crab and then slightly come up, not with the big pump. And these periods of time are very, very similar to when you have the stock to flow models. You can see in these areas with these blue and whatnot, these areas where we kind of like are having small movements, and then this slightly larger movement where we kind of have the accumulation and the growth. These areas, again, 1, 2, and 3, or 3 times in a row, they've been really, really accurate. Obviously, coming back into that area, shimmying upwards now, coming back towards the line. So probably coming towards, as we come, by the end of the year, as this might predict, obviously falling a bit short, coming into nearing like a million as we go up.
That was 2030, wasn't it, for a million? 2032 or something like that? I think the million is a long way off.
Well, I mean, we've got... Okay, it gets to a million.
What year?
2025.
Are you sure it's a million, not 100,000?
No, 1020,368.03.
Right. Plan B is predicting 480,000 next year.
Maybe it's a different time frame.
Maybe it's a different time frame. It's not a million. We're not going to hit $1 million next year on Bitcoin. Okay, let's just put that out there.
Yeah, okay, let's just hide this. All that crap. Oh, okay, there we go. So we'll go to his Twitter. He'll have his own charts, and it won't probably show this. But my point still stands in terms of the accuracy of it. You can still see these pumps. When we have these big pumps, we do kind of surge away. Obviously, we had different situations. As we come along in the time frame, obviously more and more involvement of external parties into Bitcoin and crypto as a whole, it does start to falter a bit in terms of especially later coming to 2023, we had different situations which caused this. But as in these blue to red areas, every single time is normally when we're pretty accurately on the line coming into it. And you can see now we're coming into that now after these accumulation growth areas. coming into the bubble and whatnot.
Yeah.
We're coming into these sorts of periods right now, and we're getting closer and closer to the line. As we shimmy, I suppose.
Now,
But anyway,
is there another? Is the
Twitter.
Is the Twitter got the second graph? The next graph is the one that's going to depict it, I think, better
Here it is.
for people.
Bitcoin Relative Strength Index, the RSI for Bitcoin.
Is there another one? Is there another link that's got a different chart on it? In my,
We've got future price.
try that one. It might not be this one. You might just have to scroll down. He's got a thing somewhere. Is that the one with the different spikes? Can't see that for Adam.
Wait, these are the same tweets.
Okay. Somewhere on one of those two links, if you scroll down, there is a thing that shows the previous 3 spikes, and then it shows where we are on the curve of those spikes.
I'm just gonna look.
Are you on his Twitter?
Yeah.
Right.
Do you know when it was this?
No, it's on one of the 2 links. That's all I know.
The 2 links are unless you didn't copy the other link. The 2 links are identical.
Right. Go to the other article. Go to the previous article that we've just been looking at. Then. Right.
Which article?
Scroll down.
Which article?
The one that you've just been looking at, the very first one, the stocks and flow model, the one that's on the chart. Yeah, scroll down. Right, keep going. For the love of God, I only swore there. Right, let me go onto your camera, and I'm going to go away and find that link, and I'm going to send it to you.
All right.
Plan B says 100k to 1 million. So basically, he does say that, yes, but he doesn't say that's not the range Plan B is talking about. His average price next year, as far as I'm aware, is $480,000. That's the average price that he thinks next year. I think we're going to fall short. Are you off? Am I off camera?
Yeah.
Right. Let me go and find the chart that I am talking about, and then I will send it to you, and then we will bring it up. So I don't know if you're going to go through the Plan B stuff where he talks about when to buy and when to sell. That's on his tweet.
Oh yeah.
Because you know what, we've run out of time. Let's just finish off the Plan B stuff about what he's talking about, because it's 12:30. We can't keep talking about it. Does it not have?
I don't know.
Right. Okay.
Both these links about the RSI.
All right. Okay. Go full screen, and we'll just finish the stream because we haven't got. It's 12:30. We've way overrun. Okay. Very simply put, you buy 6 months before the halving. You sell 18 months after the halving. Not my words. They are proven facts over the previous cycles. So when should you have bought? You should have bought October, November last year. How much? Do you want to bring up the Bitcoin chart, actually? That's a good idea. Bring up the Bitcoin chart. What was the price of Bitcoin October the 20th last year?
I don't know. Let me have a look.
So October the 20th was 6 months before the halving this year. So what was the price of Bitcoin on October the 20th? Let's go and see if so far this has been accurate.
When? October 20th?
October the 20th, 2023. What was the price of Bitcoin on that day?
Roughly within 30,000.
$30,000.
I'll go to daily, actually. Which day exactly again?
October the 20th.
I heard you. I just need to reiterate it because I was trying to find it. 29.8.
Okay, let's go to 30,000. Okay, so let's say you bought your Bitcoin for $30,000 on October the 20th, and you're holding it for 18 months after the halving. So May, June, July, August, September, October. So October the 20th, 2025 should be, around that period of time, the peak for Bitcoin. Now, ignore Plan B for 1 minute, and let's say we base it on the fact that it's normally 4 times the price it was on the day of the halving, which is 60,000. That would be $240,000 for Bitcoin. You've paid $30,000. It's gone to $240,000. You've 8x'd on Bitcoin, the safest, most secure asset in crypto, and you've 8x'd on it in 2 years by following the pattern that everybody else has followed for the last 3 cycles. So if you come on here and say that the bull run is over in July, 3 months after the halving, you are probably correct. But everything else to do with Bitcoin, all the charts, all the data, the entire premise of the white paper of Bitcoin is wrong. So when you say things like that the bull run is over, everything in crypto is saying you are wrong. Everything is saying you are wrong. Not me. Everything we've shown you today, the cycle, the halving, the minor capitulation, the white paper, plan B, stock to flow, every shred of evidence points to 2025, the end of 2025. So why do you say the bull run is over? Do you have evidence to suggest the bull run is over other than a 25% dip? Because if you don't, and you don't have facts to back up your comments, then your comments lack any credibility whatsoever. And all you're doing is fearing people whose first time in crypto is this cycle, who don't know any different. We've retraced. We're at 55,000. Based on this model, had you bought 6 months before the halving, you'd have a $30,000 Bitcoin. Even after the retracement, you'd be up 66% in less than a year. If we go to 240,000, you will have made 8 times your money. So don't come on here and say the cycle is over when you clearly haven't done your research. Okay? Now, could we go to 47,000? Could we go to 42,000? Yes, we could, quite easily. Biden could go and start a war tomorrow. Okay? It doesn't invalidate 12 years of history and 4 cycles that we've been through. We had a pandemic that shut the world down. We still followed the cycle. This is not meant to be, I pop in and decide to buy some crypto on the 1st of April, and then I pop out and sell my crypto on the 31st of August and I've made my money. It isn't how it works. It will never be how it works until the day that real world assets, AI, DePIN, Layer 2s, Ethereum, Solana, until they detach themselves from Bitcoin, you are Bitcoin's bitch. It rules everything in crypto. It rules the price. It rules the charts. It rules everything. It's 54% of the market. If Bitcoin wets the bed, everything else dies. If Bitcoin pumps, everything else follows. Nothing will change that in the foreseeable future. So go back, read the white paper, read everything we've put on the screen today. Go and read it and learn it. This is not my opinion. It is not the Oracle's opinion. This is how it works. And I cannot put it plainer and more simply than that.
Yeah, so you're probably going to clip it for a short, but I didn't have it on full screen. You scared everyone off.
That's fine. I can scare everybody off. I don't care. We've got to the end of the stream. We're an hour and a half in. Right. Do you want to do the outro?
Yeah. I'll yeah, I was doing a bit of TA. Yeah. really refreshed the entire chart.
Right. I need some coffee after that little announcement.
Got a nice little, obviously showing, Bitcoin got a couple of hands, got a Henshaw there.
What price are we at?
Bringing us up 56,683, bringing us up to $126,000.
By when?
Like February or something. I don't know what time.
This could very well be. If you 100, when you say 120 by when?
Let me go. Okay, let me do that. Okay, and then see how long that takes. That takes towards about February time, 2026.
So 120,000 by February, which is when Donald Trump comes into power.
Actually, this is monthly.
We could be at 240,000 by the end of the year then. So that'd be about right.
Yeah.
Am I on the screen?
This is 2026. I'll just close the chart. How about that? There we go.
Let's just go.
On screen. I'm gonna. I want to say, Thank you all so much for watching for the stream. Well, my camera's gone orange. There we go. Thank you for watching the stream. It's been nice to come back and do another Saturday stream. It's been nice to do something where I'm not just doing TM, we're actually talking about something. It's nice to actually have a conversation outside of just prices, especially with some people's strategies and whatnot. Obviously, I think what we've said today has been a good roundup of, if you are someone who might have, said something which Mike alluded to in his conversation with himself, not with himself, but with everybody in the camera, which couldn't respond to him himself just then obviously if that helped, then brilliant. Obviously, I do advise going through what we've talked about today in your own time if you do think it is viable for yourselves. I think it is viable. I think if you haven't gone through it already and you do have questions about it, which you might have found confusing or something we haven't answered today, then I would completely advise you guys to go, just search market cycles, just search the general trend of Bitcoin, go through the history of some charts. Obviously, it might be boring, but that's fine. I think making money isn't very boring to me. So if you guys want to make money, I think I would advise going through some history of some charts and how things have worked for the past 3 cycles, which have been multiple years. Why is that turning me? So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I enjoyed the stream very much. If you do want to see me again, I will be joining you guys on Monday as well for my trading live stream, where we will be going through some more charts. Probably Bitcoin again. I'm excited to see what happens in the coming days, because I want to see if we go up to where my resistance point expects it to go to. I will look at the order book again because it seemed to happen. It seemed to work great last time. And if you've got any coins, prepare it for Monday as well. Prepare it for Monday. Put it in Telegram. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't want to yap too much. We've had a long stream. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, John Wave behind the camera.
Come on, Fitzy. Fitzy.